What's up, everybody? It is your girl Rasheeda, the boss chick, and you know what I'm doing. I'm holding it down right now with my girl Kandi. You're checking out Kandi online, and make sure you hit the subscribe button. You gotta subscribe. She's gonna have all the hotness going on, so make sure you are locked and loaded.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I am your girl Kandi, and I'm sitting down with my friend Rasheeda right here in the Kandi Factory for Kandi Online. Now check this out. Rasheeda and I have been friends forever. Okay, that's on some real, like no new friends for real. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, I know that you have so much to offer to the people that they don't know and don't get about you just from watching the TV show.
Right.
So the whole point to me in doing these one-on-ones is so that people can get a little bit more than what they think they know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I guess we could start off with you in the industry. I feel like, Love and Hip Hop has done a good job as far as letting people know, that you are, a woman of hip hop or whatever. But just give them a little bit more background knowledge of when you started, some of your music and everything.
Exactly. And, I will agree with you as far as Love and Hip Hop being a good platform, especially if you're able to really make some great things happen.
Right.
But I have been, an independent female artist in the game for a really long time, over 14 years now. And I started off in the 3-girl rap group, of course, because you used to write songs with us,
yes,
called The Capers. And I decided to go solo, still a teenager actually, decided to go solo, and came out with my first single. The first song that I ever came out with was called Do It, featuring Pastor Troy.
Right.
And that record people always talk about Rasheeda ain't never been on Billboard, Rasheeda ain't never done that. The first song I ever came out with, which was Do It, was number 3 on Billboard. It got all the way to number 3. It got to number 1 in the singles Hot 100. And it was so funny because back then Nelly Country Grammar was out.
Right.
And me and Nelly was in the studio working together, and we was arguing because I was like, you'll be number 1 in a minute. I'm number 1 right now. Hold it down. We were talking junk, Then next week he was number 1, and he was like, but I'm number 1 now.
Right.
That's crazy. But and my first, the first deal I ever had was with Motown Records, one of their first first female hip hop artists. And I just been kind of growing and going ever since. Of course, I've had my Bubblegum, which is a platinum ringtone and a platinum single that a lot of people don't know about. I had a record, Georgia Peach, that was really, really, really big in the South. And I've done a whole lot of things. Marry Me, which has sold over 200 plus 1,000 units, singles, and people had a lot of shit to say about old Marry Me, but Marry Me paid the bills, just so you know that. And I've been doing my thing a long time, been independent, and that's been the blessing part about it, because I have a lot of people who come up to me and ask me questions about being an independent artist and being an artist who's on the
That's
label
what I
money.
wanted to touch on. Okay, so both Rasheeda and I have been in the industry for a very long time. But I would have to say that Rasheeda definitely has way more knowledge than me about the whole independent movement. Now, the thing about it is, Rasheeda and Kirk and D-Lo Entertainment, they have been running the independent music game and doing their thing way before it got popular for other artists to do it, right? Now, back in the day, pretty much all I knew was, being on a major label.
Exactly.
So, of course, back before, the independent movement got, popular,
Right.
A lot of us was like, why are we going to do that? You sell platinum or whatever, but not knowing that, if you sell 30, 40, 50,000 independently, that's some serious paper in comparison to us. We just getting our little advance,
Exactly.
and we not really seeing no royalties at the end of the day. So one thing that I found interesting, because Rasheeda and I, we did a project together that we didn't officially release.
Right. Peach Candy, so y'all know Peach Candy.
It's called Peach Candy, and that was before either one of us was ever on a reality show. But she had to teach me a lot of things, because I did not know. I was like, well, what we do now? Like, I know how to do records, but I didn't know how to push them and everything. And you guys, y'all had relationships with all the radio program directors, and so tell people who want to get their own independent movement going, can you give them a little bit of advice?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? It first of all, let me just break this down. It takes patience. What y'all gotta understand is it took a long time for me as an independent artist to get to a place where you have a fan base and you're able to put records out and able to do certain things independently, because it's not an easy thing. You know, it's a lot that goes along with it. And we were able to learn through a whole lot of mistakes that had happened in previous other situations with major labels. But the main thing about it is, you know, you have to, first and foremost, you have to put your music out there. Like, your music has to be pushed out there through the streets, through the hoods. Not just your homies listening and being like, that's junk jamming. No, you need some, you know, you really need to put, I advise all independent artists, put out mixtapes. Give the music away. If you can't give that shit away, then they're not gonna buy it. So, you know, get hot and know that when you putting out your mixtape, you starting to, you know, get numbers. But it's also a method to that madness. There's live mixtapes, there's that pip, there's a lot of things that, you know, you need to acquire. And I can't tell you everything in a conversation, but it's about, you know, being patient and getting some good people with you who's able to help you get your name and your music out there.
And also getting relationships with the DJs.
That's important.
She used to have me in all these different clubs. I'm not really a club person. She'd be calling me at 1 o'clock in the morning. You ready? Time to go.
Time to go.
And I used to be like, oh, we gotta go to
But it goes
clubs in one night.
It really does.
You were right.
It does. It really does.
And she was right, because by, you know, us, you know, establishing those relationships, we come to the club, you know, they play the record and people start knowing it.
And then a lot of times records come from the club and then hit radio.
Right.
And that's what people have to understand too. And a lot of times it's the strip clubs, especially down here in Atlanta. That's how things rock and roll. Like, you hide in the strip club, next thing you know, your song is on the radio because everybody want to hear it because they in the strip clubs and that's the hottest song in the strip club, you know?
Right.
So it's a lot of things that, you know, come along with it.
Okay. All right. So we touched on the business side.
Right.
Now I want to touch on the relationship side, because, I mean, obviously we see a lot of that going on in what we see on TV.
Right.
But I don't want to necessarily just talk about what's going on right now. I want to talk about the fact that, for one, it's hard as hell to have a long-lasting marriage and still be what I consider to be a young couple.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I used to always sit there and be like, oh, I want to be like y'all, because, you know, you know, I didn't know that many people that was married at a young age. So, do you feel like the fact that you guys have been married for so long, and now you guys have the pressure of people being all in your business, do you think that's had some type of effect on the marriage?
I think it does to a certain extent, because, you know, you're never ready for what comes along with television, you know, and this is just keeping it real. All of our conversations, you being on TV and me being like, girl, you just need to be like, and you just need to do this. But it's not
She's
like
trying
that.
to tell me what I need to be doing on the show. You don't even worry, you need to be now. She's in the hot seat.
Exactly. I'm in the hot seat, and, you know, I get it though, because you're never prepared for everything that comes along with it as much as you think you may be, you know? And I think it does, because you have so many people's opinions. You know, you on the show, we on the show, it's like 16 of us, you know, on this show that's on for an hour, which is on for like 46 minutes, you know? So people are only getting a few minutes of what goes on in your life, nowhere near the broad view of what's really going on.
You ain't told me nothing.
I know. So you get a lot of backlash, you know, you get a lot of hate, you get a lot of love, you get a lot of people who just have such big opinions and have so many things that they want to say. And do things start to bother you? Yes, because you're a human. And does it start to affect your relationship? It does to a certain extent, but you have to kind of step back, you know what I'm saying? And you have to leave things alone. Like, it's days I get up and I don't look at blogs.
Right.
You know, and the crazy part is I'm in them like every single day.
Yeah, lately.
It's been like that.
Never lie.
And it's like I have to push myself back in, because things will start, a lot of things that come to the surface, majority of the stuff is not even true, but you start looking at stuff and hearing stuff and you be like, what the hell, hold on now, you know. And it does begin to affect your relationship to a certain extent, but you have to understand your foundation. You know, you and your significant other, me and Kirk, and the things that we, you know, go through. We have to get an understanding and understand what's us.